Donald Trump is throwing his support behind a Nigel Farage UK government as Keir Starmer's polling numbers continue to crumble, according to a GB News report.
Compared to you,
most powerful men in Europe? Yep, well, years on from that Donald Trump rally speech, the president is now reportedly readying himself for Farage to sweep into number 10. And get this, it could reportedly happen much sooner than anyone thinks. Sources have told the Mail on Sunday that the US president has vowed to, quote, throw his whole weight behind the reform leader, who is expected to win 29% of the vote at the next general election, according to latest polling.
The host then went on to reveal that Trump's people and Farage's people had a meeting in London where they discussed strategy to topple the government.
According to the Mail on Sunday, a recent meeting has reportedly taken place between the Trump and Farage camps in London, both discussing how to turn the polling majority into a House of Commons majority. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump and his advisers apparently watched Rachel Reeves' budget from Mar-a-Lago, the so-called Winter White House in Florida. An insider told the Mail on Sunday there was dismay at what unfolded. This is a woman who tried to blame everyone, including Donald Trump, for the fact she was going to have to raise taxes. Now she's been exposed as a liar. So this is all very well, isn't it? Reform leading in the polls, Trump preparing for a reform victory. But the next election is more than 3 years away, right? 2029. Well, according to sources who spoke to the Mail on Sunday, President Trump doesn't expect Keir Starmer's government to last beyond 2027, and he wants Nigel Farage to be in Downing Street while he's still serving out his second term in the White House, which is, of course, due to expire in January 2029. So it's all kicking off. The mechanics are in play. President Trump reportedly wants Nigel Farage in number 10 to save Great Britain, and indeed,
Trump has been a vocal critic of UK policies for the bulk of his presidency, particularly the immigration crisis currently afflicting the nation.
And some of them murdered more than one person. And they're gone, you have the same exact thing. You have people coming in from parts of the world. You better do, this interview is good for one thing. You better do something about immigration, because it's more important than inflation. Inflation you can solve. But when you have people coming into your country and they're bad people, the wrong people, it doesn't work, and it's not working. If you don't get them out, you're not going to have a country left.
Trump supporter Farage comes after Keir Starmer was dealt another blow after Chancellor Rachel Reeves was accused of lying about the dire state of the UK's economy to justify tax hikes.
That it was your political choices that led you to put tax up in the way that you have, not the emergency and this enormous black hole that was suggested existed before your budget. Let's stick with whether or not everyone watching can trust you. Do you deny you created the perception before the election that you wouldn't put people's taxes up?
Well, before the election, we did set out a number of tax increases. We said we would get rid of the non-dom tax status, which we have.
Do you deny that you led people to believe you wouldn't put their taxes up, ordinary people's taxes?
Well, we had a manifesto commitment not to increase the rates of income tax, national insurance or VAT, and also that we would keep corporation tax at its current levels. In the budget last year and the budget this year, I have stuck to those. But I was really clear on that speech that you referenced on the 6th of November that I would be asking everyone to make a contribution to be able to protect funding for public services. And that is why I made the decision to freeze the tax threshold.
And you won't even admit to people that you have broken the spirit of that promise. You're saying, oh, well, if you'd read the small print, you might have realised we'd do it anyway.
Print. It was in the next sentence, Laura. It said those specific taxes. But I do recognise that we are asking people to pay more. That is a choice I made. I could have chosen, as I said to Matt Chorley in that interview on the 10th of November, to make deep cuts to public spending. I didn't make that choice because people voted for change in the general election last year.
But you know what, Chancellor? Commentator Lee Harris blasted Reeves, saying, "Infuriating to watch. This is everything I hate about politicians in a single clip. Rachel Reeves has clearly broken her manifesto promises. We know she lied. MSM knows she lied. She even knows she lied. But she refuses to admit it. I utterly despise this blatant gaslighting." But Keir Starmer is standing by his Chancellor, saying the budget was a moment of personal pride for him.
Budget was a moment of personal pride for me. I do not want to see a country where children grow up in poverty, I don't think anybody in this country wants that.
Online commentator Chris Rose blasted Starmer, saying Keir Starmer has backed Rachel Reeves' budget by insisting that there was no misleading about the £22 billion black hole. He has nailed himself to her and the lies. If she goes, he goes. He will regret this. Piers Morgan doubled down, saying, on BBC Newsnight on Monday night, I predicted Rachel Reeves would be gone by Christmas, following her disastrous budget, which is a betrayal of everything she promised not to do. I expect she will be gone much sooner. Not because she's a woman, but because she's hopeless. Nigel Farage used the scandal to further blast his opponents.
Budget doom loop day. You might have seen major double-page spread adverts in many of our national newspapers. My letter to the readers of these newspapers, and it was a terrible budget, a massive assault on saving, an assault on aspiration. Basically, if you work, you pay more tax. If you don't work, it's been a great budget. In fact, if you're a Somalian with 10 children, you're best part of 20 grand better off. The whole thing is absolutely crazy. Look at the video we put out, talking about our post-budget thoughts. And what's really interesting today is who is most trusted for economic competence. Reform now well ahead of the Conservatives. So in the economic space, people are beginning to trust us, and they're right to. Do you know why? Because we've got people in senior positions in our party who've actually run businesses, unlike all the rest.
And called for the resignation of Miss Reeves, saying earlier today, whatever the OBR's failing, they have not willfully misled the public. The wrong person resigned today. It should have been Rachel Reeves. I'm now calling on Richard Hughes to release his correspondence with the Chancellor so we can see exactly what she knew.